Hey everyone, in this video I'm going to give you some tips on how to do tarot journaling, and I'm going to show off my own tarot journal, which you can see right here. It's already open. I'm going to zoom in and give you some details also. But first, I would like to say a few words about what it means to have a tarot journal and how it can help you with your spiritual life, your awakening, and how it can be beneficial if you're a professional tarot reader. And while I'm doing this, I'm also shuffling the cards just for relaxation purposes, because some of you have commented that you like the shuffling sounds, so here we go. So I started doing tarot journaling around 5-6 years ago. That's when I started practicing the tarot and learning about the tarot. So within 1 year of getting my first tarot deck, I started a tarot journal. I never really read about it. Nobody told me to start a tarot journal, but I felt guided to take some notes on my own, just to get acquainted with the cards. And around this time, I was experimenting with lucid dreaming too. So I decided to use my tarot journal as a dream journal too. And here comes my first tip. If you would like to start a tarot journal, it's probably a good idea to take notes of not only the cards you draw for yourself, but also the dreams, the intuitions, the synchronicities that you have, because oftentimes the tarot cards that you get for yourself have some kind of connection to your dream world, because dreams and tarot card references, intuition, synchronicities, these all come from the subconscious mind. And I think it's a good idea to collect all these things together, because that gives us a chance to see all the relations between the symbols and the details, and discover meaningful connections between them. And besides this, I also use my tarot journal to take notes about my day, my daily life, my non-spiritual life, the tip of the iceberg, because I think it's probably the most useful approach, because then you have both sides of the coin, the subconscious and the conscious events. And by the way, I think it's very useful when you look back at a given year or a given time period in your life, and you have some short reminders, little notes about the memorable days in that month or during those times, because it helps you remember. And then your dreams and your tarot notes make more sense. So here's my advice. If you want to start a tarot journal, I think you should consider making it into a tarot slash dream slash regular journal. That way you can have a comprehensive picture of what's going on with you, and it's a record that you can look up later in life. So that's my first point. And my second point is completely contradicting my first point, because my second point is, do not let anybody tell you how to do tarot journaling. And I understand that this is a paradox, but I think it's very important that I bring your attention to this. Of course, you can take somebody's advice, but since the entire concept of the tarot is based on using and getting in touch with your own intuition, it wouldn't be appropriate if you just decided to copy someone else's method. What makes a tarot journal incredibly valuable, especially to those who do tarot readings professionally, and everybody who uses the tarot as a tool for self-discovery. So what makes it really valuable, I think, is that it's a dialogue, a controlled and guided dialogue between you and your subconscious mind, and the connections you make, the references that you take note of in your journal are invaluable, because they are unique and personal, and they represent a profound, genuine, and relevant relationship between you and the tarot, and that is going to make your own work with the tarot easier and more effective and more beautiful, because it's one thing to try and memorize all the meaning all the key points that are available in books and on the internet about each individual card. But when you go into the layers of meaning of each card, as experienced through your own personal journey and your own unique perspective, that's going to make your readings very, very valuable, in my opinion, because anybody can go online and read the meanings, the generic meanings of the cards, but when you get acquainted with each card through your own experience, then you're able to get to some universal truths during your own specific personal life story, and present it to others in a meaningful and helpful way, then I think that's our goal. That's what tarot is for. That's what it's supposed to be. It's a psychological tool. It's a game, a divine game. It's basically something that provides guidance for all of us if we are open to it. I think this openness is very important. So this is why I say that your tarot journal should be your extension of your own self. It should be like a temple, a creative space where you do the legwork for your tarot readings. It's like a workshop of the mind. This is my personal subjective opinion again, so feel free to do it your own way. But my opinion is that your tarot journal should be part of your everyday experience. So it should be like your toothbrush or your bed or a door, your front door, or something that you use every day casually. It's, even though I just said it's a temple, it should be an integral part of your day, organic and not a celebration, not a special event. It should be an everyday item that you keep close to your working space or your bed at all times, especially if you're getting down your dreams too. And I'm also of the opinion that your tarot journal shouldn't look like it's a special wholly decorated diary, you know what I mean? So I think a plain and simple notebook will do. And you don't need to use a special pen or any special kind of stationery to make it holy or divine or sacred in any way, because its sacredness, in my opinion, lies in the fact that you have this very close personal relationship with it and the cards. So it's just my opinion. So that's why I use this plain cover notebook. It's from 2013. And I just use I usually use just a generic ballpoint pen to take down my experiences. I'm not using any fancy pens or markers or anything like that. On the other hand, I think it's very useful to have your own notation system. I have developed my own. Let me show you. So, for example, I don't know if you can see this. You probably can't. Okay, so what I have here is I use color code for my monthly readings. As you can see, I have green and yellow and blue and red. And I always do a 12-card reading for each month and for each year. Both of these readings are available on my Patreon page, by the way. So if you want to get a reading like that from me, you can. And each of these represent one house, one zodiac house. That's the first house, the second house, third house, fourth house, and so on. And they all represent branches of experience. It's how I like to put it. And I always have a significator card for the annual readings and the monthly readings too. And that's the card that really makes up the most significant part of the reading. It's like the basic energy of the month, and I always try to keep an eye on the connections and the relationship between the individual cards, and I like to take note of how they interact with each other and how they influence each other. And whenever I see a quote or a poem or a song lyrics that I think fits to the theme of the month or one of the cards or the card connections, I always make a note. So for example, here's a quote from Alejandro Jodorowsky, and I'll try to read it to you. It's in Spanish. I'm really not sure if my pronunciation is gonna be on point, but I'll try anyways. Me gusta envejecer porque tiempo disuelve lo superfluo y conserva lo esencial. Which basically means that I like getting old because time dissolves the superficial things and preserves the essential things. And this was the month when my birthday was celebrated, so I thought it was important to take a note. And I also have these, I don't know how they're called, but these short forms. So for example, cup Q. Let me zoom in on this. So for example, we have cup 7 here, which is 7 of cups. WA4, which is wands. Pen 8, which is pentacles. And I take notes like this. So it's not a chronological system. I take notes with each card at the same time. And so, yeah, I think it's a good method. But then again, I think it's important that you have your own system. So here I always take notes of how the card affects my life or how it can be related to my daily life. And here on the other side of the page, I have these short notes of the important events of my life, so I can make the connections. And I think it also makes a tarot journal valuable. If you do drawings, I don't know if you can see this. So here's a little silly drawing of a dog I've seen in my dream. It was a smiling dog that had a pet snake, and I just thought it was cute and interesting, so I made a little drawing of it. And here's another drawing of the Queen of Cups. It was a huge synchronicity with a dream I had and with my tarot readings. And so that was a very significant card for me at that time. And I have another quote from Alejandro Jodorowsky for this card. If I stop asking for love, I am in a position to give it. We should put love there where there is not love, and we will find to you one of the weird dreams that I had that seemed significant at the time, and they really were. So this one is called Swan Human, and I read this somewhere and I think it really works, that if you write down your dreams, it's important that you give titles to the dreams and that you take your notes in the present tense like you're there, because it helps with